Hi friends, thanks for tuning into my channel. If you are a first-time viewer, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. Today's video is video number 3 in the Things I've Learned series. One of my favorite classes in my whole seminary matriculation so far. Marital, premarital, and family counseling class. And what I found out when I took that class is that so many of the mindsets and skills that are needed to approach marriage and family and even singleness in a healthy way are mindsets and skills that are needed just in everyday life. And so what I'm going to be sharing today is what my professor, Dr. Larry Wagner, calls 7 barriers to effective listening. The first barrier to effective listening is knowing the answer. Knowing the answer. Knowing the answer means that, like when you're talking to someone and you think you already know what they're going to say, so before they can complete their sentence, you complete it for them. Sometimes we may see that as a sign of closeness or a show of understanding to someone that we're close to. We feel like we can complete their sentences. I know, there some couples talk about how, oh, we're so close, we complete each other's sentences. But there are times when that can be annoying and when it can really shut the person that's talking to you down because they're trying to communicate something to you, but you think you know what they're going to say, so it doesn't give them the opportunity to express. And we all know how that feels. Before we can get the words out of our mouth, they're completing our sentence. And they're wrong. That's even more annoying when someone completes your sentence and they're wrong. It's something to keep in mind. It's something common. It's something that we do sometimes. But in learning how to be an effective listener, that's something that we want to watch out for, knowing the answer. So that's the first thing. All right, the second barrier to effective listening is trying to be helpful. Trying to be helpful. Sometimes when someone is telling us or sharing their experience while they're talking, we're trying to come up with a solution. We're trying to come up with what we're going to say to them, what answer we're going to give them, what advice we're going to give them, how we're going to help them solve their problem. And sometimes in doing that, we actually miss the essence of what that person is really trying to communicate. Sometimes when people are sharing things, they don't always want our advice. They don't always want our help. They don't always want to know our opinion. But sometimes a person is just trying to communicate their experience, and that's all they really need. They just need to know that they have been heard, and they need to be affirmed that your experience is valuable. I value what you're saying. I'm glad that you're sharing it with me. Don't necessarily have to know the answer. So we have to be careful and be sensitive to times when someone just wants to talk and we don't have to have an answer. For the third barrier to effective communication. Yeah, this is a good one, so listen up. Treating discussion as competition. Treating discussion as competition. Treating discussion as competition is a serious barrier to effective communication because instead of it being a discussion that activates our ability to be empathetic, it becomes a competition. For example, when someone is saying, oh man, I really had a rough day today. My car wouldn't start. My dog ran away. Instead of listening to all of that person's experience and saying, man, I'm sorry that's happening to you. It must have been pretty tough. We begin to say, oh, well, you think you had a rough morning. Well, when I got up this morning, I got a call from work saying I had to be there early. And Junior lost his left shoe. It becomes a competition. It's a temptation to always make the conversation about you. Make it about how hard things are for you or what great experience you had in comparison to what the person who is speaking is trying to share. So treating discussion as competition is our third barrier to effective communication. All right, now the fourth barrier to effective communication is trying to influence or impress during a conversation. You can tell when someone is speaking to you that they are trying to get you to be impressed with them. Instead of trying to get to know you or genuinely sharing their experiences, you can tell, like, I think you're trying to get me to be impressed with you. And I don't know you yet. I want to know you. I want to know beyond this ulterior motive of trying to impress me. Then on the flip side of that, I've been in situations where I didn't say anything at all because I couldn't think of anything impressive to say. So feeling like I didn't have anything impressive to say just made me keep my mouth closed, as opposed to sharing my experience with whatever the topic was. We want our communication to be open, honest, genuine, and effective. And if we're trying to impress or influence someone, it takes away. It's not impressive. And if anything, it's influencing distance instead of connection. All right. The fifth barrier to effective communication is reacting to red flags. We see red flag words used all the time across social media. We use them as hashtags to bring all dialogue about a particular conversation together in one place where they can be found and shared. In a heavily saturated social media world, we see and use red flag words all the time. There's some other YouTubers that I watch or follow, and they purposely give their YouTube videos controversial titles or use certain keywords that people get angry about before they even watch the video or before they even read the blog. And that's a perfect example of how red flag words influence conversations with people, because we hear a particular word or see a particular phrase and we think we already know where they're going, so we don't even hear the rest of what they have to say. Good listeners develop a skill of being able to suppress that emotion that comes with that red flag word in order to be able to hear properly and respond properly. The sixth barrier to effective communication is what Dr. Wagner calls believing in language. I thought about social media, and I also thought about texting. If you want somebody to misunderstand you, send them a text. It's so easy to misinterpret something through a text because we have too much faith in the accuracy of our language, isolated from the intonation of our voices, facial expressions, all of those things that help us to a degree to understand what a person is trying to communicate. Although facial expression and vocal intonation can also be a little deceiving. If all else fails, it's good to just ask questions. What did you mean when you said this? Or when you say you're running late, do you mean you're on the way and you're 5 minutes away? Or do you mean you just got up and you're just getting dressed? What do you mean? Ask questions and get clarity. Somehow in the process of recording this, I failed to mention the seventh barrier to effective listening. So here it is, listen up. Number 7 is mixing up the forest and the trees. And simply put, it means that either A, you pay so much attention to unimportant details that you miss the meaning of what the speaker is trying to communicate, or B, you totally disregard very important details, which again leaves you confused and unsure about what the speaker is trying to say. And the solution to this is simple again. Ask questions. If you're not sure, ask for clarity. And in most cases, it will even help the speaker to gather their thoughts and communicate effectively. So thanks so much for tuning into my channel. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe so that you will be the first to know every time I release a new video. And please, please, please share with your friends. I appreciate you stopping by just to watch this video, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. And I will see you in my next video.